Hello people, what is going on? It is Tuesday, it is gloomy, it is dull and depressing, and I am wearing a hoodie. I feel like winter is here. But West Ham over the last 24 hours has been pretty active, not gonna lie. Like, we've been buzzing from Lopetegui coming out and doing his interview the other day and speaking pretty well. I'm gonna be honest, he spoke pretty well, and I like the enthusiasm of the man. I really do. And I like the way Steidon was sitting there and just smiling, nodding and doing his stuff. But yeah, listen, the Lopetegui era is here, and we're here to talk about it. This is a Q&A sesh, so anyone puts any comments in, I'm going to read them out, as many as I can, for the next 45 minutes before the Romania versus Holland game, which I'm going to be watching. But for me, Lopetegui's interview yesterday was very, very good. Really enjoyed it. And I watched the whole interview on Haters TV. I even got a little mention from one of their people in the comment section below, which was good. I like it. I like the enthusiasm. Yeah, it's about time West Ham had a bit more of enthusiasm this season. Now we've got to back it up with transfers. I'm going to be honest. I think transfers is a major thing with West Ham, and we need to start seeing some firepower in and around the ranks, so to speak. Right, I see questions flying in now. I'll get to them shortly. I'm going to leave transfer rooms till last, but I'm going to speak about the kit. Yeah, and this is why West Ham are bastards, mate. I'm going to be real. They fuck up the old age pensioners and the children and expect them to pay like stupid money for their tickets. Yeah. And then they go and bring out probably the best kit they've ever bought out of their life. Literally unreal. Yeah. That kit, I seen the kit yesterday as it come out, and I was like, yeah, this kit's a bit tidy. I'm not going to lie. It's old, it's retro, it's very West Ham United. Yeah. And now you're torn between a rock and a hard place because you don't want to buy the kit because you want to think of the people, but you do want to buy the kit because it's probably the best kit they've ever done. Simply is the best kit they've ever made. So, yeah, a bit of a sticky one, that one. It really is. But that kit is very, very nice. I like it. I like the collar on it. I like the badge on it. And the badge looks pretty solid. And you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm all for that kit. I really am. Will I buy it? No, I won't. I've been on this train for 8 years, so I will remain that. But at Christmas, I will give a kit away this year. I'm going to say that. If this is my final year doing this game, yeah, and it comes to next year, I'll go, enough's enough now. It's time to down tools and hand it over to everyone else to carry on doing their shit. I will give away a kit to a subscriber at the end of the season. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm like. I'm a donator, and I like to donate to people and make their lives better. Do you know what I'm saying? Right, let's get into this. Right, what we've got here. Ricky, what's good, James? What you saying about the new kit? As I say, mate, it's wonderful. Not going to lie, it's the best kit I've seen for a long, long time. As I say, can't stress enough how good it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you think we will sign anyone this week? We need to sign some players, mate. Pre-season starts very, very soon. And before we go to America, we need to start getting some reinforcements into the ranks. Now, I've heard some stuff today. Someone sent me something earlier on, and they said they don't want it to be spread. And then someone else sent me the same thing. So one of my friends from America, not Lucas, but someone else, said about obviously Carl Walker-Peters and Keelman. The Keelman one really, I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah, it's nothing against Lopetegui, nothing like that. I just £40 million for this geezer's a lot of dough. And this geezer's either going to be an instant hit or he's going to be a flop, and there's no middle with it. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's a lot of dough. I think we're trying to appease Maidenhead and Wolves. I think Wolves are trying to get their money that they want, and then what they're doing is they're raising the bar so Maidenhead get their dough. And I just don't like it. I just simply don't like it, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? Carl Walker-Peters, bring. Simple as that. He's young, he's fresh, he's athletic, he can get up and down the pitch, he can score goals. Get him in, man. Who do you want us to sign for striker? Ivan Toney, mate. Said it for the last 2.5 years since I've been doing this channel. Yeah, that geezer, 28 years old, he's the guy. If you want an Antonio player, Ivan's your guy. Simple as that. He holds the ball up well, he scores goals, scores pens. he's got this arrogancy about him, which I do like. People say, "Oh, he's a bit too arrogant. He's got a bit of an attitude problem." I don't buy it. Yeah, I think he's at Brentford. He wants to step up another level. Now, can he step up to elite top six level? I don't believe he can. Yeah, I don't think he's a top six centre forward in the Premier League, but I definitely think we could get him. Yeah, do you know what I mean? If they don't want him and he wants to leave, West Ham go all out and get this geezer because he will score us goals. He'll score 20 goals a season. Now, if you got him, Kudus, Bowen, and let's just say Paqueta is found not guilty and he decides to stay for another year, that's a front four. That's probably one of the best front fours in the Premier League. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm all for it, man. I really am. Hi, buddy. Do you feel after hearing yesterday's presser that Tim and Lopetegui have the transfers needed in hand? I don't know. I don't know, mate. If I'm being truthfully honest, I'm a bit when I start seeing them coming in, then I'll start feeling at ease. Do you know what I'm saying? All it is hearsay and spill at the minute, and it shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't. Like West Ham should be having people wrapped up, ready to go right now. But if it's Kilman, then fair enough. Like I welcome him with open arms. I welcome every player. I just don't like the price tag on the Kilman one. It's just the price tag bugs the life out of me. £40 million for this man. I just don't see a £40 million player there. I see a 25 to £30 million player there, but I feel like we're paying over the top to appease Maidenhead and Wolves, and it just, for me personally, it just doesn't feel right. It just don't, like, I think there's better talent out there. I think Greaves at Hull is a player that I would definitely have. Do you know what I mean? There's Chalobah at Chelsea. To name them two players, do you know what I'm saying? That's off the top of my head. So, yeah, I'm hoping they've got it right, but you know, keep Umbro. Yeah, I agree with that. I think both kits are amazing this year. Certainly better than last few years, especially the home kit. I agree, Robert. 100%, mate. 100%. I'm not going to lie. And that's the thing that does me with this club. Yeah, they shaft the fans on the tickets and things like that, and they go and drop out a fucking 10 out of 10 kit. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you look at that kit, it's like it's your heartstrings, isn't it? And listen, I get the people who are fighting all this, yeah, and trying to like really fight for the tickets and for the people and the West Ham fans. I understand it because I've been doing it for 8 years. Do you know what I'm saying? But I've got to a stage now where like you're pissing in the wind, really. You got no hope really now. Do you know what I mean? The only hope you've ever got is trying to sort of boycott games and protests and things like that. But people that soon wear thin. Like someone said to me the other day, he said, James, if West Ham are 2-1 up on the 70th minute, are you going to would you walk out of a game? And that's it. It pulls at your heartstrings there. So, you know, it's okay doing it for the greater good, and I understand that. And I've been like that for a long time, a fucking long time. And I've been out of that ground for 8 years and never set foot in there under Sullivan's reign. But when I look at it right now, I feel personally that you're fighting a losing battle. Do you know what I mean? Because I think the narrative is shifted over, and it's gone. If I'm being real, you know what I'm saying. But the kit is lovely, Robert. I'm not going to lie. Afternoon, Jimbo. What's your thoughts on people turning their nose up on players who are 28, 29 because they're too old? Is it just mentality these days? CR7 is 39 for fuck's sake. I did see it earlier on. Shout out to Central. Central did come at me and said to me, James, he's 29 years old. When I had to correct him, he's 28 years old. He was 28 in March. If Ivan Toney's over the hill, then so is Jared Bowen. Because Jared Bowen's 27 years old. Yeah. So let's have it right here. Ivan Toney is a very good footballer. Yeah. And he's extremely good at Brentford. When he's on form, Ivan's a very good player. Now, someone I'm going to shout out, Scott Venn, who I've known for a long time, subscriber to this channel. Me and him have been on this train for years. I mean, ever since I started doing this channel, yeah, I've always said get Ivan Toney. He's the perfect replacement for Antonio. He's strong, he's robust, he's good in the air, good on the ground. He can take people on. He scores penalties. Like, I'm not being funny. If you want a recognised centre forward, I don't think someone like Callum Wilson does it for me. I just don't see it. Callum Wilson. Now I see a link earlier on. Someone sent me something and said about Callum Wilson. And I'm thinking, fuck me, is that where we're going now? Callum Wilson, is it? Is that the vibe that we've got? I'm not on the Callum Wilson train either. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the Zaha train, Wilson train. It just doesn't. It don't feel right to me. I thought this was a new era. Now, new era is to go out and get probably one of the best centre forwards in the Premier League, and that's Ivan Toney. Do you know what I mean? He scores goals, and that's what we need. We need goals. And if you've got him up front, mark my words, West Ham are a threat. Yeah, West Ham finished top 10 easy. Do you know what I mean? If you've got Ivan Toney, Mohamed Kudus, Jared Bowen as a front three, Yeah, and then you've got someone on the left hand side who's dynamic. If that is Guilherme or if that is someone else of rapid pace, then we are cooking, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie, we are. I'm positive. Then Callum Wilson. That's not positivity. That's cheap, like the canary. And I'm going to be honest. So yeah, old man Shaggy. Hope you're well, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? The vibe between Tim and Julian feels good. Certainly a lot better than when Moyes was gaffer. I'm going to be honest. I agree with you on that. Yeah, the vibe was good, but all that can change in the first 6 months. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's the honeymoon period right now, so let's get it right. They've come in. He's had his say yesterday, and I thought he spoke well. Yeah, I thought he done. I thought he done all right. Now I watched the whole interview. I didn't watch bits. I went on YouTube. I found the interview and I watched it from start to finish. I think when they say he was their number one choice, I don't believe that. Yeah, because I knew this in fucking December that he was firmly in the frame to be taken over from Moyes and firmly going to be the one who's going to be the head of the pack because he was a free agent. So I don't believe he was their number one choice because you don't go and get Almer in and get him around your house. Do you know what I'm saying? If he's if that's the case, so it's a good era. I like the way he speaks. I like what he said about Paqueta that we're all a family and all that. I hope that sort of filters down into the fan base. Yeah, because it seems like the fan base ain't really a family. It's very very cliquey in the fan base. But I'm going to be honest. Him and Tim, what he said about transfers is key. About a young striker and all. I heard that. Now, is that Banza at Braga? It could be. If it is, then I'm happy with that. Do you know what I mean? Caleri would be a great, but I feel like he's going to be out of reach. Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying. Same shit every year. Been linked with so many players. Thing is, we're going to get linked with players because we need so many players. That's the problem, Kev. I'm going to be honest. We need so many that we're going to be linked with fucking 50 players at least at the bare minimum. So I'm all for being linked with them. The Carl Walker Peters one, I think, is a good bit of business. I think for once West Ham are using their brain, right, and thought, right, part exchange Flynn Downs, get KWP in, and then we're all right. Do you know what I'm saying? We're right for that right back position. So yeah, Tony's 29 years old. It's too much money. He's 28. For fuck's sake, he's 28 years old. He's 29 in March, right? So let's get it right. That's what he is. So yeah, can't imagine given the last year. So that Tony made a move to a club like Arsenal. West Ham would suit him much better. The thing is, Rob, yeah, I think that's where the narrative shifts because I think Arsenal are bigger than Ivan Toney. I think they're going for bigger players than Ivan Toney. But I think with West Ham, I think Ivan Toney is quite a big signing for us. Yeah. And to push us up into that sort of top bracket. Now, is he going to go Manchester United? Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's a possibility. He ain't going to City, he ain't going to Liverpool, he ain't going to go Chelsea. I think Chelsea are just going to like go out and probably go for someone of high stature. Um, who else does Spurs, possibly, but I don't know about that one. Yeah. And then you sort of filter your way down, Villa, Newcastle, and then you get to us. Yeah. And I think for us, I think he'd be a really good signing. Do you know what I mean? I think he's the sort of player that we want and need. And also, I think I understand what people say about people from abroad bringing them in, right, like a younger player. But you know what you get with Ivan Toney. It's as simple as that. You know exactly what you're paying for is like what you're going to get. And you're going to get goals, man. Do you know what I'm saying? If Brentford can make this geezer like score 20 goals a season, West Ham can definitely make him score 20 goals a season, especially with the amount of talent that we've got. So I'm all for it. Do you know what I mean? Kilman ain't 40 million. That's crazy. It apparently is, mate. Right, I'm going to be honest. Apparently, that's what the fee is, because they're trying to get to that bracket where they can sort of pay Maidenhead for the selling on clause, and they don't lose out much money on it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it is a bit much. The Umbro kit's nice because they are a swan song Reebok next year. Yeah, I know. I would love to have someone that could distribute kits here in the States. Getting Umbro stuff over here is nearly impossible. Uh, I've sent some stuff over before. I'm sure I have. Yeah, Umbro stuff. Yeah. Get someone from England, Rob. That's the best way of doing it. Get someone from England to send it over for you. You just pay for the postage and packaging. What we got? Let's have a look. Let's get down to people are saying about him. Kilman and KWP are close. Sol and Wilson in talks. Now, Sol, I don't know nothing about, so I'm not going to mention him. But the Callum Wilson one, I'm going to be real. Like, if you listen, right, I'm going to say this to people, right, and I want you to put it in the comments section, right. But if someone would have said to you at the end of the season, when Moyes left, that our centre forward that we're going to be linked with, yeah, and in talks with is Callum Wilson, people would have gone mad. People would have said, absolute no chance. Tim will go out and find the next big thing. Yeah. If we sign Callum Wilson, I am going to be pissed off, mate. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Because that's a cheap signing for what exactly? Do you know what I'm saying? Now, in another aspect, you can look at it and go, yeah, bring him in, but make sure you bring loads of wingers in. Yeah. Which could be the possibility. Now, you've got Callum Wilson, Antonio, and you've got Jared Bowen up front, who's probably going to be the mainstay. Yeah. Now, that, fair enough. But Wilson as a centre forward at West Ham, nah, not for me, mate. Not for me at all. Hello, how are you? Hope you're not puffing and staying pipeless. Pipeless cast, fuck me. I've not seen your name on any platform for about a year. I mean, I hope you're all right, mate, wherever you are with that good voice of yours. Do you know what I'm saying? Right, I feel a bit better actually hearing Tim say the club doesn't have to sell to buy. I agree. I agree. But I do think there is a bit of issue with that because we have to sell Aguerd in order to bring in centre halves. Do you know what I mean? Because we need centre halves, don't we? So, and I see it quoted the other day, 40 million euros West Ham want for Aguerd. That is, yeah, like I think they're going to have to lower their valuation on that. Tim needs to stop talking and start acting. Oh, that is So, Daddy, James, we ain't going forward with that dwarf in charge, and you know this. I agree, but I'm not happy with the Callum Wilson link. I think even the Kilman. I think the Kilman one is more to appease Lopetegui. Do I like it? No, I'm not going to lie because this could go one or two ways. If it goes all right, then Lopetegui's a fucking like god, yeah. And if we sign Kilman and he turns out to be the next big thing, then so be it. But if it goes bad, and it could go bad, it is a £40 million flop. Now at Wolves, you've got to understand it. Wolves and West Ham are two different fucking clubs altogether. Yeah, we're a higher ambitious club, and Wolves are in a bit of shit at the minute. Do you know what I'm saying? Financially, so 40 million for this geezer is a lot of dough. Simply is. Someone didn't like that, but it is what it is. James, I don't really want to be stressed out already over the whole season. Yeah, I know, mate. What do I? Let's have KWP and JWP both quality players in the spine. Listen, Carl Walker Peters, mate. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a very, very, as I said earlier on, very good bit of business. Like I think West Ham can pull that off. Yeah, takedowns down there, bring KWP up here. I think that's that's a masterclass stroke from West Ham. Bad time and all, like something using their brain a little bit and going in there and getting a player that, let's be honest, if you take Dan's out and you put in KWP as a right back, and I think he would be our first choice right back over Soufal. I think that's a good bit of business because like I think KWP is worth more than what Downs is being quoted at. So I think the Tony deal depends on if Brentford lower their value. Now, whether their Brentford's value is, whether that's between 40 or 50 million or something like that, he is in the last year of his contract. So they are going to have to sort of look at this in a way to say, right, who's really interested in coming in for him? And is it worth us keeping him for 6 months and sending him in January? I think Brentford are already planning to sell Ivan Toney. They've already brought in a centre forward from Club Brugge. So for me, I look at this and I think they are going to look to sell him this summer. Now, I think they're waiting for one of the big hitters to come in and try and get a bidding war, but I just don't see it's going to happen. I think, as I said earlier, I think Ivan Toney is at our level, but he's not at elite level. And if he is at elite level, he ain't going to be a first team starter there. Do you know what I mean? I just can't see it. Now, Arsenal need a centre forward. He's an Arsenal fan. It makes a lot of sense. Will Arsenal go in and try and get him over to Brentford? Maybe. I think Arsenal might be looking a bit better than that. Do you know what I'm saying? I've seen some of the players that they've been linked, especially in the centre forward position, and I just don't see how Ivan Toney would be their main man, if that makes sense. So, James, I love the new home kit. I ain't bought one for many years. Yeah, I know, mate. Nor have I. Just saying. Hiya, James, mate. I hope you're all good. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Maltese Hammer says no to Wilson. I agree, mate. Callum Wilson is too injury prone. I agree. Let's get down to it. Andy Irving is training with the first team. It's like a new signing. I know. I know. Listen, this is the man who was out in Austria, I think it was. Yeah, and he's come back today. He's one of our players. We don't even know how good this geezer is. So who knows? Who knows? Does anyone really know what the budget is? It's all guessing games. I'll tell you the reason why I think it's not as big as what people make out. It's for the people that we're being linked to. Wilfred Zaha, Callum Wilson. There was someone else the other day that was linked to, and I was looking at it. I was thinking, Wan-Bissaka for 12 million. Like, yeah, I'm not seeing a big budget at all. Far from it, if I'm being honest. I understand the need to sign a new centre back, but you're telling me that there ain't similar players in the Championship for half the price. Greaves at Hull would be a really good signing. And what makes me laugh is it's a West Ham signing, that one, all day long. Right? West Ham like to go into the Championship and get out players of quality. Like Cresswell was one, Bowen was another one, like that we've gone in there and we took him out of their sort of clubs. I mean, I think even Antonio was a Championship player at Forest, I believe, before we bought him back in 2015, 2014, I think it was. So we know the Championship market, and I understand what Tim was saying the other day. Yeah, he'd rather keep it in on this Isles rather than him having to travel all the way around the world to try and find players. But if that's the case, then the Championship's got about 25 players in there who are really, really good players that need a step up. There was a player who played for Coventry. I don't know where he's at now, but O'Hare, I can't even pronounce his name. Callum O'Hare, I think his name was. Really good player. We was linked with him, and he just goes dead. He just goes dead. But it is what it is. Have to say, I like Greaves from Hull. I agree, Alex. I simply do, mate. I really do. Tony ain't fucking coming. Well, I hope he does. That's what I'm going to say. I hope he does, because who would I rather have, Callum Wilson or Ivan Toney? I know I'd rather have. Do you know what I mean? Who's the best footballer who's been on the channel? Probably Mitch, mate. Probably Mitchell, I have to say. Yeah, them two. I agree. Great show, mate. Good to see you positive. No, listen, I can be positive, but I can also be real. Do you know what I'm saying? And when I look at it as a whole, when I was listening to that interview yesterday, and I was hearing what Lopetegui was saying, but he was going. I don't want to be disrespectful to the geese, but he was going on in what he was saying, yeah. But then I listened to what Tim was saying, and he's very sort of to the point of what he wants to do. Do you know what I mean? He did mention a young striker at the club. Now, Callum Wilson's not a young striker, so I don't know where that comes into play. But I feel West Ham. I feel the interview was good, but I need to start seeing some action now. The Kilman one will divide the fan base. I'm going to say this. Some people will look at Max Kilman and go, £40 million. That is a lot of dough for a defender. And I know Lopetegui wants him, but he hasn't really been amazing. And if he was really that good, big hitters would come in and take him out of Wolves a long time ago. Yeah. If it goes the other way and he don't materialise and he ends up being a bit like an Aguerd type player at West Ham, then people will look at the manager there straight away. It's on the cards. Prayers for Syed Ben Rama. Yes, I did see his thing the other day. I've got to say this. I see it on Instagram. I think Ibby put it up on Twitter. So I head over to Instagram, have a look. And he was very sort of appreciative to the fans and the club and everything. Listen, all the best to Syed Ben Rama. Yeah, whether you like him or you don't, whether you think he's a fucking prick or not. Yeah, that geezer was one of the main reasons that helped us win that trophy, like on that run up last year. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, listen, good luck to him. Good luck to him. He's done his time at West Ham. I've backed him up. I've had so many rows over that geezer. He's unreal. Trying to back him up, back him up. And in the end, West Ham have gone above side Benrahma. Yeah. And that's fine because that's where West Ham want to be. West Ham need to be going up and not keep staying at the level where Benny was. Benny was not at that level where we want to be. Now, the question is now, who comes in to replace him? Now, if I see anyone come in who's fucking like Zaha or someone like that, then nothing will ever change at this club. And I do mean that. Like nothing will ever change because Zaha hasn't really been putting up any trees in Turkey. Right? They won the league, but someone who's Turkish, who's a Turkish fan, basically messaged me and said he's not all that, mate. Like, and if West Ham paid money for him, then yeah, if West Ham get him on a free transfer, yeah, which I think they're looking at trying to do, then okay, fair enough. But yeah, not for me. Zaha is a big no. I agree, mate, and that's a thumbs down. What I just see there. Ben Run was he's the most disrespected player at West Ham. He didn't fit the Moyes system, but he's a good footballer. I think it's a bit of everything, mate. I think Moyes. There was times when Moyes wasn't treating him right. Yeah. And the fan base would get on him because he was trying so hard to impress the manager, but the manager didn't really. It was at stages where basically the manager literally said to him, "I've got no one else. I'll play you," sort of thing. It wasn't as bad as people make out. Don't get me wrong, but it is what it is on that. I'm not going to lie. He's done his time. I think what we've done. I will say this. That we've got a good fee for him, £15 million for this geezer, for his age. Very good. It's very good. Let's be real. So, Saha was a bench warmer second half of the season. Yeah, I'm not on the Saha thing, mate. I really am not. Yeah, and it does concern me a little bit because I need to know who his agent is. Do you know what I mean? Because if his agent's anything to do with Sullivan, then he's on his way. So, yeah. Benny was a bit overrated, to be honest. Not quick or strong enough for the Premier League at the top level. I agree. I agree with the Benny thing, but I don't think he deserved to be criticised the way he does. It's a bit like Thomas Souček, if I'm honest. When you look at Thomas Souček and the way Thomas Souček gets treated, yeah, he went from side Benrahma now to Thomas Souček. Now, Thomas Souček for me is a player that is not technically the best player in the world. He's not technically the best player at West Ham, yeah. But one thing that geezer lacks in being technical, he makes up in heart, desire, and commitment, and prepared to get stuck in and fight. Now, for me, give me that all day long, mate. Give me that all day long. If you when I was growing up, yeah, the whole thing of being a West Ham fan was that you give it all for the shirt, win or lose, yeah, and you bleed for this club. Thomas Souček bleeds for this fucking club, and people criticise him quite a lot and want him out the door. Do you know what I mean? Because they want this tippy-tappy style of play. I'm going to be real, yeah? Fucking give me a Thomas Souček every day of the week. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you know what you're going to get with him. So, yeah. Do you think there is a possibility of El Nesiri? What's your thoughts on it? Oh, mate. Alex, you've done me, mate. You've done me. You've killed me off. You've killed me off, Alex. Yeah, Bean. Right. I don't know how many interviews. I don't know how many videos I have done on Yusuf El Nesri or El Naziri, however you want to pronounce it. Right. I have done so many videos on this geezer over the last 2 years talking about this geezer possibly coming to West Ham. If this geezer ends up in Saudi Arabia and we don't get him, then I'll be like, for fuck's sake. I think he's all right. I think he's okay. I think for the fee that it's looking at between 20 and 25 million, I think it is. I think it's a good signing. Yeah. Could he do it in the Premier League for us? I don't know. That's the $1 million question on that. I think in Spain, I think he's done it so many times over in Spain. But every time he's played against a British club, he's never really even when we played them in the two-legged affair, we had him sort of under lock and key for most of that game. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd have it, but that'd be like a jury's out moment for me. It really would. I'm sure I've heard something about Somerville from Leeds. Uh, Listen, Somerville from Leeds always gets mentioned. Yeah, always gets mentioned all the time, and he's going to be a higher bid for one of the big hitters. I'd love to have him at West Ham, but I just don't think West Ham are prepared to pay big money out. And this is the thing that does me, right? West Ham are going 40 million for Kilman, yeah, but we need a striker, a left winger, and we need a lot more than just 40 million on one centre half. Do you know what I'm saying? And if it means 40 million on Kilman and then we're wrapping it up with 10s and 15s and free transfers, yeah, I don't know about that. I really don't. You know what I mean? Suchek can't pass, man. If you're going to put him in the middle of the team, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But when people say he needs to be sold, he's one of the worst players that I've seen. That's what I've seen on what people are writing stuff and shit. Yeah, I don't buy it, mate. Do you know what I mean? Some of the best players West Ham's had over the years, yeah, haven't been technically very good, but they give everything for the shirt. And I don't think you can ever question this geezer's commitment to his club. Do you know what I mean? I see him from the Czech Republic, and I was like, fuck me, are we going a bit harsh on this geezer or what? Like, are we really going in on this man? It's going to be interesting to see how Lopetegui uses him. Yeah, because let's be honest, he's been a big player for us over the last few years. Whether you like him or not, I think last season he scored some big goals, yeah, that won us games, yeah, and got us into the top half, really. Like Jared Bowen was great, but also Souček's late goals at Everton, Burnley, Nottingham Forest, even Arsenal to a point to get us on our way to that famous win. He scores big goals, Thomas Souček, and you either love him or you hate him, yeah, and there's no middle. Thank you very much, mate. I really do appreciate it. 199. God bless you, mate. Thank you very much. El Naziri would be a decent backup signing if we could get someone like Tony. I just think Tony's the man, mate. Yeah, I see earlier on people saying, oh, I don't know about him, his attitude and things like that. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I look at Tony. He needs to step up from Brentford. Yeah, I think Brentford are that mid-table side. Yeah, that are. I would say, are they middle of the mid-table sides? Would you say, or are they or could they even go down this year? Do you know what I mean? If Ivan Toney goes this year from Brentford, dark horses Brentford to get relegated. Because I just think without his goals, they are not the same team. Now for us, Ivan's perfect for us. He holds the ball up well, he brings others into play. He's good on that sort of counter-attacking sort of mould. I'm all for it. Now, people say about Jonathan David is another one that I like, yeah. But if I reel off the names that we're mentioning, El Naziri, Jonathan David, Ivan Toney, and we end up with fucking Callum Wilson, that to me is just an insult. It just is it's just an insult if we end up with Callum fucking Wilson at this club. Do you know what I mean? The podcasters together, you just can't make it up, can you? Do you know what I'm saying? Souček as bed for us is a fucking tough bastard. He is, mate. He really is. Tony changed the game the other day. I'm going to be honest. When he come on, when it's a set piece throw, he knows it too well, doesn't he? Great header from Gary, and obviously, I think the assist for the second goal for Kane was unreal. Like to header it back, some people would have headed that towards the goal, but he's headed it into an area where he knows that players are going to be. He's an intelligent footballer, mate. Really is. And I've been asking for this geezer for the last 2 years. It's just whether or not West Ham are serious. And what does me, this is what winds me up with West Ham. They go and pay 50 million out for Paqueta, yeah, and get him over the line. 42.5 million pounds for Haller. They need a centre forward at this club. They can't rely on Antonio at 33, 34 years of age. Yeah. Antonio was good last season after the injury. But before the injury happened in the season, Antonio wasn't all that. When he got injured, he come back. He was decent, and I would hold my hands up and say he was very, very good. But we can't rely on him. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, what do you do with him? Do you use him as an impact sub? Do you put Bowen up front? Do you flood it with wingers? Like bring another winger in? There's a lot of ways of doing it, but you know, I just think West Ham need an out and out centre forward, someone who can lead the line, hold the ball up, bring players into play, and he's the guy, mate. He really is. Let's get to this one. Do you think we will lose Orfield? Have you heard anything about giving him a new deal? Yeah, I know Villa are looking at him, aren't they? That's a bit of a concern. West Ham need to start acting fast with these youth players. Obviously, if he does go, that's a shame, isn't it? It is a shame. But then I look at the youngsters that we've let go. Like Divine's gone. He could possibly be going to Germany to play, which could be mad. And obviously Ben's obviously up to Ipswich. So West Ham need to start acting fast on the youth. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know, Mark. I have to remain to be seen on that one, man. I just can't see David coming to West Ham. Now, if he went for him last summer when we had European football, it may be a different story. I think with the Jonathan David and Ivan Toney thing, I think they're very similar. I think they're both waiting for big hitter clubs to come in, and then we're the backup option if the big hitters don't come. Now, for me, Tony, I think Tony just does it ahead of Ivan. Tony does it ahead of David for me. He really does. I think what Tony brings as a whole is better than what Jonathan David brings. But I do think Jonathan David's a decent player. Do you know what I mean? I have so many arguments and disagreements on the Jonathan David thing where people think he's absolutely shit. And I just don't buy it. I really don't. I think for us, he'd be all right. I think he'd be better than fucking Danny Ings. Let's put it like that. So, you know, I'd love him at West Ham. I really would. Even Tony's presence just seems to worry teams. I agree. Completely agree on that. Tony's never coming to West Ham. No chance. Well, let's hope you're wrong, enemy lines. Do you know what I mean? What's happening with Freddie Potts? That's interesting. That's the interesting comment. I will say that. Where do we go with Freddie Potts? Do we bring him into the fold, into the first team? Do we let him go to a championship club, or do we loan him out again to any club to a point? For me, I would loan him out to a championship club. Someone like a Portsmouth would be a good championship move for him. So, someone where a club is going to be pushing towards the top end of the championship. I think Portsmouth are a big club, especially in that league. And I just don't think Freddie's ready right now to step in to a Premier League side. But I think he's not far away. I think he's another year away. So I definitely think a loan is in order. I don't think he's a League One loan. I think he's done his time at League One level. I think he needs to go to a club like a Coventry City would be a good move for him under Robbins up there, or go to something like a Pompey and just push, or even a West Brom to a point, somewhere where they're going to be pushing up, but they're going to have a something in the contract that says he has to play. Do you know what I'm saying? Or he has to get these 20 appearances in the season or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's have a look. What we got? I still like Tar at the back if we could get him at a reasonable price. I think he's going into Milan, mate. I see something the other day. I think Jonathan Tar's on the way to Inter Milan, and Thuram, the other, not Marcus, his brother, the one that I've really liked at Nice for a long time. He's going Juventus and all. So yeah, not looking good on them two. Potts will probably go on loan to a championship side. I think it has to be, mate. James, what would be your number one signing and why? Centre forward, mate. I think we need a centre forward at this club. I think defenders, you can find defenders from like championship and you can build them up over a period of time. Greaves is one. And I think Steiden's always brought in decent defenders, yeah, wherever he's been. And for me, I think we can find decent defenders. The attack line, I think we rely so much on Bowen and Kudus to bang the goals in. And if Kudus goes dry, then we're relying on one man to score the goals. I think the Paqueta situation is a bit of a troubling one because we don't know where we lie with him. Is he staying? Is he going to be if he gets off with the gambling thing? Is he going to be instant bids going to come in for him to get him out of West Ham? We just don't know. So a centre forward would be ideal. I think we need someone in midfield who's technically very good. Yeah. So whether you're going to take out Ward Prowse and bring in someone technically good like a Fofana, box to box. I think we need to start seeing some players who are sort of going to come in here and be here for long term. Do you know what I mean? When I do see the links to some of the players that we're being linked to, it don't bode well for me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Zaha, Wilson. That just fills me with like negativity straight away. So yeah, centre forward. Potts probably has a chance to impress in pre-season. Why other midfielders won't be back for pre-season straight away. Paqueta, Alvarez, Souček. I agree on that. I really do. But as for his career, I just don't think he's ready to come in now. If he starts pre-season well, and obviously what you just said there, Jack's correct. If them three players ain't back, and we end up going to say America, and he starts performing against these like sides, then maybe, maybe I want to see George Murphy next year. I really do. I think he's a talent. I think he's a good bench option to have. He's not a starter, but he's a bench option. But Freddie is an interesting one. I think he's just 1 year behind. I think give him a year at a championship club, and then the following year you could probably have one of a really good midfielder. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to push this geezer into the side for the sake of pushing him in. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if we do and it don't work out, then it's failure, then, isn't it? Be real. I like to see a last loan for Freddie, but I think it would be serious for us for the following season. Yeah, I agree, man. What sort of price tag has Tony got? I think it's going to be between 40 and 50. But the issue with Tony is he's in his last year of his contract at Brentford. Now, will Brentford buckle under the pressure? Just say for instance, West Ham say, right, we give you 40 million for him. Yeah, can they really afford to go in and try and stretch that out to a 50 million where they might never get it? Do you know what I'm saying? I personally think Tony's the one. Yeah, I think I've always said this ever since I've done this channel. I said Ivan Tony would be ideal for West Ham, but it all depends on what striker Lopetegui wants. So Tar is going Bayern Munich, buddy. I did see that, but I did see something about Inter Milan and all. So the final for me should be an absolute priority. He's different class. He was excellent last year. Excellent. I remember watching Monaco versus Arsenal in a pre-season friendly, yeah? And this is what irritates me with West Ham, when they fucking dilly and dally all the time. I was watching the game at the Emirates, yeah, on this iPad, and I watched him and I thought, why are we not all over this geezer? Like, we was linked with him heavily last summer, and then for some reason we just backed away from the deal. It was just like what's going on? Right. He scored a goal in that game. He was very good. And yeah, for some reason we undernard and sodded about to a point which, I'm going to be honest, wasn't really good. If in Tim we trust and the project has come, let me read that again. Sorry. If in Tim we trust and the project, how come we are linked with the scattergun 150 approximately players and not around 10 solid pinpoint players? Valid point. Valid. Right? That is valid. To round this video up on that point, yeah, because I think that's a very, very good point. I agree there should be players set in stone that we should be going after that we've monitored for the last year. That's the one thing that I'm not seeing at all. I feel like Guilherme is a player that Tim's looked at for a long time, yeah, and he's thought, right, we've got him, fair enough. But he's got to have more than one, surely. There has to be more than fucking one player that Tim Steiden's been looking at over the last year. Now, it remains to be seen, but when you look at the links to the players that we're being linked to, Kilman, I'm going to be honest, is not a Tim Steiden fucking player. Tim Steiden hasn't looked around and thought, right, let's go and get Max Kilman for 40 million. That's a Lopetegui. I want that man. You go and get me that man. And a few of them, really, if I'm being honest, where I'm seeing the links to other players, I'm not seeing them having a Tim Steiden mark on it. And someone said it to me the other day. Yeah, I make 100% right. I would have thought we would have been scouting Germany. Yeah, Tim's connections to Germany, Leverkusen, etc. Like, I'm not seeing us linked to any German base players. Not one, really, which is a bit baffling to a point. Which I would have thought, you know what, this man's been here. I would have thought he would have scoured the globe for talent. He's gone to Brazil. He hasn't been anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I agree with you on that, Ricky. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to put that comment back up there just so people can get into that. I do agree. I do agree 100% on that. It only takes Big Dave from the Boozer to say someone's got a good left foot, and then they'll be linked. True, true. But I want Tim Stein to say it's being linked. Do you know what I mean? So, it is what it is. Right, it is kickoff time. I thought I'd do this for 45 minutes. I appreciate everyone who put their comments in. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to Each One His Own TV. I'll be back at some point in the week. Don't know when. Do you know what I mean? I hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, lovely kit. Lopetegui era is here. And let's hope we get some signings very, very soon. Kilman, KWP, and please bring me Ivan Toney, because I'll be a nappy boy if I see Ivan through the door. Take care. Peace.
Come with me.